At the Farmers Museum in Cooperstown, New York, wallpaper is made using the same methods that journeyman paper stainers used during the 19th century. Within the museum, craftsmen produce the wallpaper at the American Paper Staining Manufactory and Exhibit. They use fine materials to produce authentic reproductions of wallpaper and bandboxes. Wendy Weeks, supervisor and printer in the manufactory, demonstrates the process. She starts with heritage rag paper made from cotton pulp, created especially for the Farmers Museum. Several sheets of rag paper are glued together to make a long length of wallpaper. Paper made from wood pulp was not readily available until the mid-19th century. Continuous rolls of paper were not available until the middle of the 1800s. A water-based paint made with dry chalk and clay is used on the paper. Pigments are added to make different colors, and glue made from animal hides serves as a binder to hold the mixture together. The next step is called grounding. Each roll of paper is coated, sometimes twice, with paint. This step provides the background color for the finished wallpaper. Once painted, the paper must be dried before the next step. The paper is hung to air dry. The most rewarding step of the process, and the most labor-intensive, is the actual block printing. Each color must be pressed onto the paper using a separate block. Each block, and therefore each color, is pressed separately onto the paper. The paper must dry before the next color can be applied. To apply paint to the block, felt is placed into a paint box called a sieve, which is then placed into an inner box lined with canvas. The canvas bottom of the box sits on water, which allows equal pressure and displacement on the carved face of the printing block. The block is pressed onto the painted felt and blotted several times to ensure that enough paint is on the pattern. The inked block is placed onto the wallpaper, which has been unrolled on the bed of the press. This particular press was made using a design from the 1820s. Registration pins are used to ensure that the block is placed correctly onto the paper. Once the inked block is in place, it is pressed down using a lever. The lever creates enough pressure to print uniformly on the paper. It is very important to place the block correctly each time the paper is moved. The registration pins help the printer move the paper down the proper distance so the pattern is repeated correctly without any overlap of the design. This process is continued down the length of the paper, creating the repeating pattern. Once one color is printed, the roll of paper must be hung to dry before the next block can be used for a different color. By using rag paper, distemper paint, and carved wooden blocks to manually press the papers, the wallpaper manufactured at the Farmers Museum has the characteristic look and feel of historic paper hangings. These wallpapers are the most accurate reproductions of 18th and early 19th century wallpapers produced in this country today. The Farmers Museum has archived samples of wallpaper both in an effort to preserve the paper and also to allow researchers access to historically significant pieces. Additionally, the archive is used to help recreate historically accurate wallpapers at the Farmers Museum. The American paper staining manufactory and exhibit is unique in this country. Every aspect of creating authentic, historic wallpaper has been researched and reflects the museum's commitment to an accurate representation of American products and processes of the 19th century.